I want to talk to you about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
So I remember sitting in my office. I finally had my first job. It's like stand up time, and everyone's talking about all the things they accomplished yesterday. And I am on the same bug that I have been on for 4 days in a row. And everyone else is, yeah, yesterday I just completely refactored the entire Amazon web server instance. And I'm like, yeah, I still couldn't get the color to change from green to blue when you mouse over it. So I'm gonna keep working on that today. How do we deal with imposter syndrome? It's so
Yeah.
scary.
It's such a real thing. I have imposter syndrome. I work with some of the smartest people that I've ever worked with in my life, and I experience imposter syndrome literally every single day. So I get it. I hear it. We all feel it. Melinda Gates has a really great LinkedIn article about her own imposter syndrome. So if Melinda Gates has
Interesting.
imposter syndrome, then I think we're okay. Um,
Right.
yeah, I think it's about knowing, first of all, everybody has it, everybody experiences it, and that what from yourself is often not how other people perceive you. And
Mm-hmm.
remember that there's always going to be someone who knows more than you, which means there are people like more than other people. And so I think a really good way to combat imposter syndrome is to stay in your own lane. What are your goals? What are the things you want to measure yourself by? Don't measure yourself by someone else. That is a surefire way to fail and have a miserable life. So stay in your own lane. What are your goals? What is it that you want to accomplish? And then don't forget to, if you're really experiencing bad imposter syndrome, don't forget to go back and see your growth, right? What has helped you, like, acknowledge those wins and measure your growth. Weirdly enough, it seems counterintuitive, but I think another really great way to battle imposter syndrome is to talk to other people. Because I think the more you talk to other developers, you realize, oh, I know a lot. So many of my grads are hesitant to go to networking events, and then they go to the networking event and they go, oh, I know a lot. So that's another really good way to kind of battle that.
Yeah. One of the things I realized too, I think some of the tips I had too would probably be like humble yourself and feel free to like voice what's going on to maybe some of your other engineers or to
Yeah.
your boss where you're like, hey, like they know, right? So that you're like, I'm just really dealing with some imposter syndrome. What I mean by humble yourself is being like, is there any way I could is there any resources you would recommend? Can you, or to someone on your team, can you show me how you did that thing so
Yeah.
fast? Walk me through this piece of code. I don't get it. If
Yeah.
you coming in as a learner, I feel lets them give grace to you because then they're on your team. Like they're not all against you, right? Like you've brought people on your team.
Yeah.
And the second thing I saw was like when I would compare myself to the fellow devs around me, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, I just felt so bad. But when they would look at what I was doing, because like I said, I hang out more on the creative front. So
Yeah.
I was doing some of the designing and I was doing some of the color schemes,
Mhm.
and like I brought in some of my like past knowledge of like stuff
Yeah.
like that and the aesthetics. And at that point they were, like they felt like they were
Yeah.
imposters around me in that area.
Mhm.
And so I can't specifically say that, but I could say that
No,
because I
but
don't know what they were feeling.
yeah,
But do you know what I mean?
and it's so true. The thing you feel insecure about, I guarantee you there's someone who feels insecurity as well because of holiday. Sorry, my dog just got home from being out of town for a
Oh,
week. But I guarantee there's someone who feels imposter syndrome in reverse because of a quality you possess. And I think your point about being vulnerable and like asking for help is spot on because that's really how you learn. And again, how you might discover that you might know more than you think you do.